Hi everyone, my name's Janine. Thank you for finding yourselves here today. I just wanted to do a little short practice that's based around working with our extremities. So getting into some mobility in our hands and our wrists and the forearms, as well as a bit of time in the feet, the toes, the ankles. So our hands and our feet, they do so much for us. So I think it's fair to give a little TLC back to them. So to begin, let's just take a few rounds of breath to land. So go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. Maybe you're in cross-legged like me, or maybe you're on your knees. Or if you want to start this practice just by lying down, then please do that too. So just begin by closing down the eyes, or maybe you're just finding a bit of a heaviness behind your eyelids. Let's just take a few rounds of breath. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. A couple more times on your own. Inhaling fully, filling up the diaphragm, filling up the belly, feeling your inhale travel up until you're nice and full. And exhaling again. A couple more times. Just bringing yourself into the space. Putting anything else aside that you have to do today. And allowing yourself to just be here now. And on your last exhale there, let's blink the eyes open and we'll get right into it. So let's begin by making a couple of fists with our hands. And we're just going to begin to open and close the hands, the palms. Moving quickly, just creating a little bit of heat. So this is actually a strength building exercise for our forearms and our wrists. So we'll do this for about 10-15 more seconds. You can probably already feel it. I definitely can. This is really great for mobility in the fingers, the wrists, get things moving, building that strength in the forearms. Okay, about 5 more seconds. And release. From here, let's just shake it out, shaking out the wrists. Let's come into just some simple wrist circles here. Maybe going the other direction now. So many of us work with our hands all day on computers, phones, we're typing, we're texting. So even in between for short moments of the day, you can bring simple exercises like this in. It can be really beneficial. Okay, from here, let's make our fists again, but let's bring our thumbs over top of our fingers so that they're not tucked inside. So bringing your thumbs outside, making those wrists, and just slowly begin to make little circles here. So moving your hand, your wrist forward, accentuating the movement as you move to the side. Maybe you just want to do one hand at a time too. So I'm going to drop my left hand down on my lap, just so that our arms don't get too sore here. This is a really great stretch for getting into the tops of the wrists. I can even feel it in the little joint that's on my pinky finger. Couple more times. And moving in the opposite direction. Breathing here. And release. Let's do our second side. So making that fist again and beginning to turn nice little clockwise circles or counterclockwise if you decided to start that direction. And just being slow with it, just feeling out all the little ligaments and joints that might be tight, might be sticky from using your hands all day. Let's go in the opposite direction now. Remembering your breath. So like anytime we come into stretching, we want to focus on the breath and kind of let our breath guide us through the movements too. So that goes for even these small little stretches. Okay, and release. Let's just shake that out one more time. And from here, let's get into a little bit of a counter stretch kind of for the wrists as well. But we'll bring our hands into a prayer pose in that Anjali Mudra, bringing it to heart center. So squeeze your shoulder blades back behind you, relaxing the shoulders so they're not hiking up towards your ears here either. But we just want to create a nice long spine so that we're not curving everything forward and our body's not trying to resist the stretch or kind of protect it in another way. So anyways, back to heart center. We're going to slowly come into a reverse prayer. So inhaling here, and on your exhale, let's begin to turn our fingertips to out in front of us. And then slowly begin to turn your fingertips facing to the floor. So this might be a lot for you, and maybe you want to stay that your fingertips are just pointing out. But just feel into where your edge is here and breathe there. So if you come all the way down, remember again, pull your shoulder blades back, sit up nice and tall, and breathing into the stretch. Maybe sending your inhales and your exhales into that tight spot, into the stretch. Just take a few rounds here. If it feels good, you can close down the eyes. Or maybe just looking out in front of you at a point of focus. One more big breath. And on your exhale, we'll slowly come out of it. So just coming out of it the same way we came into it. So beginning to point your finger straight ahead and then back up to the sky. All right, awesome. So we'll do a couple stretches for our fingers now. So coming into one side first, I'm gonna inhale as I bring my right hand out in front of me. And one finger at a time, we're gonna pull up onto our pinky finger on that inhale. And as we exhale, we'll pull it back towards us. Holding here for one round of breath. And releasing, coming into the the ring finger now. So pulling up on the finger and exhaling as you pull it back behind you. So keep a straight arm here, but don't lock into the elbow, and kind of push away with the base of your hand, with the palm at the wrist. And release that. We're going to come into our middle finger now. So inhaling as we pull up and exhaling as you pull it back towards you. Staying here again for one round of breath. Try to relax in your shoulders once again. Releasing that. Inhaling in as you pull up on your pointer finger, and exhale as you pull it back towards you. Releasing and getting into the thumb now. So I like to hook my thumb kind of from underneath, and I'll pull it, over top actually, I think works better. Pull it out to the side and then back towards you. And you'll feel it here with what works. So nice big stretch in the thumb, one round of breath here, inhaling in and exhaling. Okay, releasing that hand. Let's just do another little wrist circle here. Maybe you can feel some clicks. Okay, and inhaling as we lengthen out our left hand this time out in front of us. We'll begin with the pinky finger. So inhaling as you pull your pinky up and exhaling as you pull it back towards you. Again, relaxing in that shoulder. Releasing and inhaling as you come up to your ring finger. Get that one mixed up. And exhale as you pull it back behind you. Releasing there, coming into your middle finger, pulling up on your inhale and exhaling as you pull it towards you, pushing into the heel of the hand. So you have a bit of resistance here, and release. Inhaling as you pull it up on the pointer finger, and exhale as you pull it back towards you. Releasing, and into the thumb, hooking it either from the bottom or the top, whatever works for you. Pulling it out first and then back and towards you. And release. We'll just shake it out here. So let's just roll out our fingers here, just getting in some accentuating the movement in our fingers. So beginning with our pointer finger, we'll start to roll out each finger, one at a time. Maybe once you get to their pinky, then the pinky comes out first, rolling all the way back to your pointer finger. Just a couple times like this. Don't think about it too much, just roll it out and have fun with it. Okay, so let's just massage out the forearm just a teeny bit here, giving ourselves a little self-care, little kneading in the forearms. Okay, and from here, let's roll forward. So we're coming onto our hands and knees in a tabletop pose. And once you're set up here, we're gonna turn our fingertips so that they're facing us now. So turning your hands so they're your forearms, you're getting a nice big forearm stretch here. So I like to bring my knees close towards my fingers so that I can actually kind of sit back lightly towards my heels. I'm not gonna sit on my heels because that's just way too big of a stretch here. And just begin to slowly rock front to back, pushing into your fingertips equally, pushing into your knuckles here too. Try to have a nice flat back so you're not arching everything here, and also in a way your body's trying to avoid the stretch by doing that. So taking a few rounds of breath as you rock back and forth. It's a nice stretch into the forearms, opening that up. This time as you rock back, let's just hold here. Taking 3 rounds of breath. Okay, and I'm gonna walk my knees up towards my fingers even more. So now I can sit down onto my heels, and you'll slowly begin to just peel your hand up off the mat, going one finger at a time, super, super slowly. You wanna be really mindful with your extremities when you're doing these really big stretches, because it can be a lot. And coming up, let's circle out the wrist again. One more time. And this time we're gonna come back to our hands and knees, but we're gonna bring the tops of our hands to the mat. So set yourself up again in that tabletop, but really gently turning your turning your hands so that the tops of your hands are now on top of the mat. So we're getting into kind of a counter stretch in the top of the wrist here. So this is a big one for me. And breathing here, again, try to push into your fingers here if you can. And taking 3 deep full rounds of breath, breathing into the stretch, into the sensation. Maybe tucking your toes here, if that feels like more stability for you. Okay, one more round, inhaling through the nose. And on your exhale, we'll slowly lift up the hands, Sinking ourselves back onto our heels and circling out the wrists here. Okay, feels a lot more open in my body. I hope it does for you. We're gonna come into just a little bit of movement for our ankles and our toes. So one of my favorites is the toe squat. So what we're gonna do is lift ourselves up onto our knees here, tuck our toes back behind us. Maybe your big toes touch here. And even take your pinky toe and bring it out from under you so that you're getting a nice stretch into your pinky toe as well. Not to forget about that little guy. And when you're ready, you can sink your hips back onto your heels, getting into this nice big opening, really helping to break up the fascia in the feet here. Everything starts and ends in the feet, so opening up the meridians. And let's bring our palms open onto our lap, trying to keep your chest nice and open. Taking a few rounds of breath here. So if you don't do this squat often, it can be really intense. I try to bring it into my practice almost every day, so I feel like it's super beneficial, especially if you walk a lot and we shove our feet into tight little shoes. So it's really good to just break up that tight fascia in the feet. But yes, this can be really intense, so if it ever feels like pain, shooting pain, really, really intense discomfort, then please come out of it. You can even just sit up onto your knees like this, and you're still getting a bit of a toe squat by doing this, but you don't have that weight of your body. But if you're still down here, we'll just take 2 more rounds of breath, breathing into sensation. Maybe exhaling out with a sigh. 1 more inhale. And let's roll forward on your exhale and begin to tap out the toes here. Let's circle out the ankles as well. Maybe going in the opposite direction. And we'll get into a nice shin and ankle stretch now. So placing your feet back on the mat and sitting back onto your heels. Let's bring our hands back behind us, and we're just gonna begin to lift up the knees, lift up the shins. So maybe you can feel a nice big stretch in the ankles here, into the shins. Really great if you ever get shin splints. That's something that I have been noticing lately for myself, and this is a really nice way to open that up. So maybe rocking back and forth. Maybe you're like just an inch off the mat too. That's totally fine. Or maybe you want to just play with rocking up and down and see how that feels for you. Taking 1 more round of breath here. And coming out of it, rolling forward. Let's come back on our hands and knees, just crossing our legs. So we're on our bum, and we'll bring our legs out in front of us. And we'll just begin to point and flex the toes. So just getting into a little bit more movement, mobility into the feet. So maybe going 1 at a time if your hands feel good. Beside you to prop yourself up here too, that can be nice. Just bending into one leg, pointing your toe, flexing the other, and switching. Couple rounds here. Okay. And crossing your legs, we'll come to a close. Let's take just a couple rounds of breath again together to close our practice. So closing down the eyes, let's take an inhale in through the nose, and let's let it out the mouth on a sigh on your exhale. Hands to heart center. And one more full round of breath. Bowing forward, giving yourself some thanks, some gratitude for taking the time for yourself today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that this felt good to you in your body and you have a little bit more space. It's feeling a bit more open in the hands. And you can take any little parts of this practice and bring them into any time of day if you feel like you need a little extra stretching or a little extra love and care for yourself. Yeah, thank you so much.